Hello and welcome friends to this practice for clarity, freedoms and space, a space element flow. My name is Sherlock and I'm so grateful to be able to guide you through today's practice. When we think of space, we think of vast expanses and quiet stillness. That's what we will focus on in today's practice. Openness, expansiveness, and becoming aware of the spaces that arise in every aspect of our lives. With the space element relating to the throat chakra, we'll be using throat opening and heart cleansing postures to draw our awareness to those quiet spaces, those fleeting moments of stillness. In this awareness, you'll cultivate the ability to create space and become aware of not just the physical space around you and in your body, but how this can also help you recognize the space between thought and action. There is always that small moment where you get to choose what you do next. Create clarity, create space, become aware of the space in your environment and your own internal spaces as well. Let's meet on the mat. Let's begin in a comfortable seat. We'll start our practice with a short pranayama, Nadi Shodana. So bring the right thumb to block the right nostril. You can bring the index finger and the middle finger to the midpoint between the brow and just have the ring finger and the pinky finger just free. We'll use that one to block the left nostril. So before we block the nostrils, just take a deep inhale to the base of the spine. Allow the breath to fill the belly, fill the chest, move into the collarbone. And as you exhale, block the right nostril and exhale completely through the left. Inhale through the left. Release the right nostril, block the left, exhale through the right. Inhale. Release the left, block the right, exhale. Inhale. Release the right, block the left, exhale. Continue this practice. Equal inhale length to equal exhale. Just follow your own cadence. Find your own rhythm of the breath. Nadi Shodana allows us to awaken both hemispheres of the brain. So we're tapping into both sides of the brain, the left and the right. We're also generating the parasympathetic nervous system, so we're activating that as well. Keep going through this practice for the next minute or so, and I'll let you know when it's time to return the breath to its natural rhythm. One more full round through each nostril. Release the hand to the knee. Allow the breath to return to its natural rhythm. Keep the eyes closed and just observe the body. Observe the mind. And recognize the space that's created through the lungs, through the belly, through the nasal passage, from where the breath has entered and released. Gently flutter the eyelids open. Grasp hold of the knees with both hands. Inhale, find length through the spine. We're just going to go through some seated cat-cows. Lengthen through the spine, open the chest, lift the chin. Exhale, bring the chin to the chest, round the spine, grasping hold of the knees so we're rounding into the back. Inhale, coming into cow. Exhale, arching the spine into cat. Inhale. We're just waking up the spine, creating space through each vertebrae. Last one, inhale. Lift the chest, lift the chin. Exhale, arch the spine. Returning back to center. Finding length through the spine. Take an inhale. Sweep the left arm, the right arm over to the left. Hinge at the left hip crease. Gently rotate that right shoulder toward the sky. So we're opening up through the side body. Inhale, breath creates space through the side body. Exhale, navel draws to spine. 2 more breaths. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, sweep the left arm over to the right. Gently open the left shoulder toward the ceiling. So we're opening the chest, opening the heart. Inhale, creating space through that side body. Lengthening through the spine. Exhale, navel draws to spine. 2 more breaths. Inhale, coming back to center. Roll over the knees. Draw the hips to the heels. Just briefly come into a child's pose, Balasana. Just take one full breath here as the breath rises from the seat, along the back body, into the collarbone. Exhale, navel draws to spine. On the next inhale, rise up to all fours. Wave the body forward. Lower the belly to the mat. Bring the elbows underneath the shoulders. Spread the fingertips wide. Press into the mat. Gently pull it's like you're pushing into the mat with the palms and the forearms, and you're gently pulling the forearms back toward the torso. So we're opening through the chest, coming into Sphinx. Gently lift the chin. Take a full inhale here. As you inhale, you're lifting up out of the lower spine. And as you exhale, noticing as we're building strength through the navel. 1 more breath. Pivot the left forearm so it's parallel with the short edge of the mat. Bend the right knee, sweep the right arm around. Draw the heel toward the hip. We're just breathing into and awakening our quadriceps. Inhale, find length. Exhale, navel draws to spine. Maybe your right shoulder opens a little more to the ceiling, a little more to the sky. Release the back leg. Bring the right arm parallel with the short edge of the mat. Bend the left knee. Sweep the left arm around. Draw the heel toward the hip. Inhale, finding length. Exhale, gently rotating that left shoulder, opening the heart to the sky. Again, on the inhale, we're lifting out of the spine. On the exhale, navel draws to spine, creating that space, creating that stability throughout the abdomen. Gently come back to center, release the left leg. Bring the torso to meet the mat. Send the fingertips toward the back of the mat. Interlace the fingers behind the back. Inhale, lift the chin. Lift the chest. Take an exhale. Inhale, lift the legs, lift the arms. Find length through the spine, pressing into the pelvis. Lift the legs, energetically draw the inner thighs toward each other. Lift the chest, lift the chin. Gently release. Bring the torso to the mat. Bring the forehead to meet the palms. So we're just stacking the palms underneath the forehead, coming into crocodile just for a moment. Bring the hands just underneath the shoulders, push into the palms, tail back to the hips, come back into Balasana, child pose. Ever so briefly, just a little counter pose to the back bends we've just done. One more full breath. Rises from the seat on the inhale. And on the exhale, allow the low back to release and soften. Inhale, rise up to all fours. Beautiful. Tuck the toes. Rising up onto our knees. We're going to come into Ustrasana, camel pose. So we can bring the hands to the low back. Find length through the spine on the inhale. Imagine someone has their thumbs underneath your armpits and they're gently lifting your torso up. So we're lifting the chest. We've just woken up the glutes and the quadriceps to help us be supported throughout this posture. So inhale, lift the chest, lift the chin, gentle back bend, lean into the back of the hands. Good. Be careful not to let the head drop. We want to support our cervical spine here. Good. Just come back to center. If you want to go a little further this time, lean into the hands. Release the right hand to the right heel. Left hand to the left heel. We'll be here for a few breaths. Inhale, lift up through the chest. Exhale, navel draws to spine. Using the strength of our neck muscles to keep our head up. Inhale, breath rises from the seat along the front body into the collarbone. Exhale, navel draws to spine. We're becoming aware of the space created as we connect to the breath, to the body, and the movement. Lifting the chest. One more breath. Bring the left hand to the sacrum. Bring the right hand to the sacrum. Release the release the hands in front. Just come to a few cat-cows just to ease out of that Ustrasana. So inhale, lower the belly, lift the chest, cow. Exhale, arch the spine. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, tuck the toes, sweep the tail to the sky, Ardha Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Just take a moment to breathe into the back line of the body. Notice as you press your weight into the pads of the fingertips, internally rotate the elbows toward each other. We broaden through the shoulders. And as we broaden through the shoulders, the chest draws toward the thighs. And we're creating that space along the back body, along the back line of the body. Inhale, gazes to the top of the mat. Walk the feet between the hands. Bring the hands to the shins. Find a flat back, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands to heart center, Samastiti. Lower the hands, inhale. Sweep the arms overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. Slight bend in the upper back. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, hands to shins, find a flat back. Frame the front foot, step the right leg back, lower the knee to the mat. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead, low lunge. Exhale, frame the front foot, step back into plank, elbows to the side body, lower down, chaturanga. Come to the tops of the feet. Push through the hands, upward facing dog. Thighs are away from the mat. Shoulder blades melt down the back. Exhale, tuck the toes. Sweep the tail to the sky, downward facing dog. Inhale, look to the top of the mat. Step forward, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands to heart center, Samastiti. Lower the hands, inhale, sweep the arms overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, hands to shins, find a flat back, Ardha Uttanasana. Frame the front foot, exhale, step the left foot back, lower the back knee. Inhale, sweep the arms forward, frame the face, low lunge. Lift up through the spine. Exhale, frame the front foot, step back into plank, whole body activation, elbows to the side body, lower down, chaturanga. Tops of the feet, push through the hands, upward facing dog. Exhale, tuck the toes, sweep the tail to the sky, downward facing dog. Inhale, look to the top of the mat, step forward. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, hands over the head, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands to heart center, Samastiti. Lower the hands. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward, Uttanasana. Hands to shins, nice long back, Ardha Uttanasana. Bend into the knees, bring the buttocks to the mat. Release the back to the mat, keep the knees pointing to the sky. We're going to come into bridge pose here. So you can bring the hands beside the body, palms facing the earth. As we inhale, we're going to lift up through the hips, gently engage the glutes. So we're not clenching the glutes here, we're just gently engaging the glutes, using the muscles in the low back to lift the hips. Inhale, lift the hips. Beautiful. Maybe here you tuck the shoulder blades underneath the chest, interlace the palms. And lifting up through the hips, notice as the breath creates space on the inhale, rising from the base of the spine, along the front body, opening into the chest. Exhale, navel draws to spine. Option to remain here in bridge. Otherwise, you can come into shoulder stand. So just release the hips back to the mat. We're going to use momentum, so come to the tops of the toes. Use the momentum, push off the feet, lift the hips, bring the hands underneath the hips for support. On the inhale, find length as you reach the toes to the ceiling. Just become aware of the space between the breath. One more full breath here. Bend into the knees. Nice and slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, draw the back toward the mat. Extend the legs out long. Beautiful. You can grab a block here if you like to help in this next posture, although it's probably not really needed. Bring the bring the hands underneath the buttocks, palms facing toward the earth. Draw the elbows in toward each other. We're going to come into fish pose. So as we point the toes, push into the palms, push into the elbows, lift the chest. So all the strength is coming from our arms. Release the head and neck and come to rest the crown of the head on the mat. Opening up through the throat, still using the strength of our arms to keep the head from pressing into the mat. Opening up through the chest, through the throat, breath rises along the front body. Exhale, navel draws to spine. And we become aware of the space between our thoughts and our actions. Recognizing we have a moment to choose where we go next. One more full breath here. Push into the elbows, lift the head and neck. Gently release the top of the back to the mat. Release the hands from underneath the buttocks. Just take a moment to breathe here. Observe any sensations throughout the body, throughout the mind. Bend the knees. Bring the feet to about hips width apart, and maybe even take them to the edge of the mat. Extend the arms out wide. And take an inhale. Exhale, gently lower the knees toward the left. Gaze is over to the right. Coming into a nice little supine twist here. Giving us a moment to breathe into the space created throughout the body, throughout the throat and the heart. Exhale, notice as the body softens. Notice the space created throughout the body, throughout the mind, particularly through the heart and the throat. Inhale. Use the breath to create a little more space. Exhale, allow the body to soften. If you want a little bit of a more intense twist here, you can bring the left foot on top of the right knee. Just a little self-adjust, just briefly here. If you're in the twist there, in the little bind, release the bind. Return to center, bring the knees back to point to the ceiling. Take an inhale. Exhale, release the legs and the knees to the right. Bring the gaze over to the left. Inhale, becoming aware of the space throughout the body. Aware of the space between each breath. Aware of the space between our thoughts and our actions. And with the opening through the heart and the throat. Become aware of the importance of your voice. Your voice matters. And in our voice, we recognize that our choice matters. In that space we create, we allow ourselves the opportunity to be aware of our next steps, our next choices. If you want that brief intensity, just bring the right ankle on top of the left knee. Breathe into that left hip. Release the bind. Come back to center. Take a moment to realign the spine. Extend the legs out long. Bring the heels about hips width apart. Allow the feet to fall to the side of the mat. You can leave your arms out to the side if you like. You can bring them slightly closer to the body. Palms facing up, ready to receive. Tuck the shoulder blades underneath the chest. Gently draw the chin away from the chest as well, allowing for the natural curve of the cervical spine. Take a moment to relax the jaw. Release any tension in the brow. Let the tongue fall away from the roof of the mouth. And if they're not already, close down the eyes. And become aware of the space around the body. Become aware of the space between the ankles and the earth. The space between the calves and the knees and the earth. Become aware of the space between the backs of the thighs and the earth. The space between the buttocks and the earth. Become aware of the space between the lower back and the earth. The space between the upper back, the shoulders and the earth. Become aware of the space between the backs of the palms and the wrists and the earth. The forearms and the elbows, the space between the earth. Notice the space between the backs of the upper arms and the earth. Draw your awareness to the space between the back of the neck and the earth. Notice now the space between the back of the head and the earth. And just begin to allow the body to surrender into those pockets of space. Give yourself permission to release. Experience the expansiveness and the openness of the space around the body. The space created by the breath. Draw your awareness back to the breath. Notice the deep expanse created by the inhale. And the calming and relaxing surrender from the exhale. Gently bring some movement to your fingers and your toes. Move the head and neck from side to side. Take an inhale, sweep the arms overhead, reach through the fingertips, pull through the toes. And as you exhale, gently roll to your most comfortable side and rest the head on the tricep. And just observe briefly here. Push through your free hand. Eyes can remain closed as you find a comfortable seat. Remaining aware of our breath and the space it creates within the body, the space it develops in the mind, and the openness it creates for clarity and freedom of perspective. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead, bring the palms to meet, remaining aware of the space within our environment. Exhale, draw the hands to the heart center, recognizing the space within the body. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you for joining me for your practice today, and thank you for allowing me to guide you through this practice. I hope that through really focusing on the breath and how much space it creates, not just in the body but in the mind, and also bringing that awareness to the space that we can create between our thoughts and the next action that we take, which gives us the opportunity to make a valuable choice. Please let me know in the comments how this practice made you feel. What was the one main thing that really resonated with you? Hit the like button if you found value in the practice. It helps raise my content to the top. And if you know anyone that can benefit from this, by all means, give it a share. If you're new here, please hit subscribe. Click on the little notification bell so you don't miss any of our uploads. And as always, keep creating magic in this world from your space at your own pace. Namaste.